Hi, welcome to Tutorials Point. I'd like to begin this session by giving you a quote by Mark Twain. If you can't get a compliment, pay yourself one. This video is on self-esteem and let's move on to understand this better. Self-esteem is nothing but your self-worth, your self-value and how you evaluate yourself in your own eyes, and also how do you place yourself in the eyes of the others. Moving on about the course overview, we will talk more about self-esteem in detail. Individual assignment, just that is to assess yourself whether you believe in self-esteem, whether you are at a level of building self-esteem. Positive self-esteem, why it is important to be positive while you talk to yourself. Negative self-esteem, to analyze whether you are in this situation and certain steps to take in terms of moving ahead from the very word negative. Lack of self-esteem. So we all undergo certain experiences in life where we do fall in this segment and phase of life. Identifying low self-esteem, this is also a phase that we on and off we knock out in our life, and we do come into this phase as well. Building self-esteem, now this is equally important. If I undergo certain experiences of being low and negative, how do I rebuild and create myself? Spotting positive behavior, measuring self-esteem as to what scale of self-esteem I follow in, and certain conclusive pointers to take ahead and go ahead and incorporate in my life, or probably move on the similar thing to the others. So moving further with no much delay, let's understand self-esteem introduction. So self-esteem is your evaluation, how you ponder upon your task that you perform, how you actually relook into your own life and present and project yourself on the on the other scale. Now this is very important that I analyze myself in positive manner, that is I do give importance to my hard work, I do rank myself high in my own eyes irrespective whether others actually believe in me or not. So when I believe, others believe in me too. Moving further, defining self-esteem, well, your Cambridge dictionary says self-esteem is being confident and having your own self-worth. So moving on in terms of having a working definition, like we already used the words self and esteem together with self-worth, self-evaluation, and how we self-talk to ourselves after undergoing certain tasks that we either completed or we yet to take certain tasks. So in general, if I have to define self-esteem in broader category, is defined under two segments, which is global self-esteem and situational self-esteem. So if I have to really give you a working definition of the word global self-esteem, so it is about how I place myself in relationship with the environment, that is either at a workplace or either at a family setting. So to talk about situational self-esteem, self-esteem in situation demands my self-worth when I complete a certain task, when I complete certain work, and what is the feedback, what is the acknowledgement that I receive from people. So looking at two different self-esteem, which is your global self-esteem and situational self-esteem, I as an individual, I place myself in two different scales. So while further in the slides and in the video tutorial, you will understand better with regard to how do I measure and take my measurement forward for self-esteem. Next slide is about your individual assignment, that is we suggest you do this activity yourself, that is place yourself in a situation where how do you regard yourself in education. That is, if you have studied already and if you are studying right now, so do you evaluate yourself on a higher scale, do you evaluate yourself on a lower scale. So when I actually talk in nutshell, how do I take my self-belief to a next level. Moving on, workplace. So how do I regard myself at workplace, how do I regard myself in health situation, a family context, peace, strengths, spirituality, career, society, children, parents, skill sets, but last but not the least, which is hobbies. So for doing this activity, what is most important prerequisite is you need to be honest, you need to be willing to recall all those incidents in your life that can fall in one of these categories to understand your self-worth. So this tutorial is not just important for anybody to understand the meaning of self-esteem, but for people who have been in demanding schedules, demanding situation, to go back and rethink on their thoughts. The thoughts could be either negative, the thoughts could be either positive. Next slide is on positive self-esteem. So how do I define it? Well, the word positive itself is self-explanatory along with the word side self-esteem. So when I self-talk with a positive affirmation that I believe in myself, I can do this, I am much more than what people label me or define me. So these are very important as an individual that we undergo as the experiences. So there's certain experiences that we all undergo, negative or positive. So negative is really good to reflect and ponder upon and take our learning forward, and positive to of course retain the positive experiences and share with our loved ones, with our family members, and take this positivity towards the next level altogether. Next slide, equally important, negative self-esteem. Now, I have been in a situation where things went on fine. I am taking my positivity towards, not just for the retention's sake, I'm taking it to next level as well, and I'm sharing amongst people. This is one of the situations that we all place ourselves in. This is because people do not regard my hard work. This is also merely people do not understand my value and worth. So I'm much more than what people believe in, and my value doesn't decrease only because people have this inability of knowing me as a person, knowing my hard work. So always believe one thing in life, and especially when we are understanding more about this topic, the value of an individual, that is value of yourself, doesn't decrease because somebody's inability is so prominent that they don't want to see our side of vision, our side of value. Moving on, lack of self-esteem. Well, we technically begin, some phase of our life where we are at this phase, which is we lack our self-esteem totally. Maybe then we move on to be more positive. Then we fall into bucket of negative self-esteem as well. Now, this is quite a prominent situation for people who are dealing with certain hardships in life, dealing with certain, financial constraint, dealing with situations where they have been emotionally drained. So, not that you should not be there. Just understand and analyze the fact, if you do not praise yourself, if you do not know your value, the others would not. So I'd like to share a line here. People believe and treat you as you treat yourself. So it's very important that I lay importance to this line and take it and incorporate amongst me. So identifying your self-esteem plays an important role too. So how do I identify it? So identification is nothing but each time I get a compliment to my task, each time I've been told that I've done a great job, a good job, or probably there's a possible improvement on certain tasks that I have performed. So I just take this and ponder upon, reflect, and try and sustain to retain these qualities. Let's see what we have in next slide, that is building self-esteem. Building self-esteem equally a challenging ball game altogether, because this needs lot of self-reflection, lot of self-talk. So even while I self-talk, we end up being little negative about yourself, little unhappy about the situation, little not so acknowledging of what you have put in at the hard work, and not so great in analyzing yourself, your behavior, your intent, and the particular situation that you underwent. So to understand this better, I really want you to sort of explore and look at this picture with a keen view. Well, definitely there's somebody who's viewing herself in the mirror. So when you view yourself in mirror, question yourself, what defines you as a person today? What made you who you are today? So these couple of self-reflection statements can actually make you believe stronger and take this belief stronger to a next level altogether. So while you self-enhance yourself, you believe in yourself, you can achieve whatever you wish and intend to achieve for. Moving on, spotting positive behavior, because this actually leads to self-esteem and self-regard of our own self. Again, looking at the picture, the qualities that I draw when I look at this picture is a charming personality, an individual who is on this chair, and somebody who has a brilliant eye contact, a smile, and somebody who has that a gesture, who's open for discussion and open for a suggestion. So when I look up to these qualities, question yourself, Do you come under something very close to this picture? That is, do you have smile? Are you a person who's always positive about others, who positively talk with others, who passes on positive vibes each time you meet and interact with people? So have this self-questioning to yourself and see that these things can add a lot of weightage to who you are as a person and helps you succeed to where you want to be in life. Next slide is measuring self-esteem. Now, Rosenberg's scientist has given a clear measure of measuring self-esteem. So, understanding it from a low and high scale, well, we do analyze ourselves that, when you're low, and we do analyze ourselves when we are high. Well, over here, the important situation to analyze is that, we do not have the self-love immensely for ourselves. Otherwise, we would be termed as narcissist, somebody who believes in narcissism, that is immense self-love about yourself. So I need to balance out this scale, that is not being at too low scale and not being at too high scale. I balance it out and I actually value my self-worth, and my self-evaluation is good as per my own understanding and as per my own analysis. These activities which have been listed has highly been recommended and researched well with psychologists. So one of the activities to talk and which has been always suggested is shopping, which is your retail therapy. So each time I step out for a shopping experience, or maybe I go alone and I self-reflect on certain things, I analyze things better, and I internalize the feedback or probably the analysis which did not go well as per the context, as per the environment that I was there in the previous situation. So these activities help me build my self-worth, my self-esteem boosts up while I undergo certain experiences such as sketching, painting. Entertainment has its own research which has been proven, and there are a lot of psychologists and psychotherapists who believe in cinema therapy as well, which is one of the new research work which came into the existence, where after the experience of watching a cinema, the last takeaway, that is that the conclusion that you take away from the movie experience is what you try to incorporate it, and if you have a happy ending in the movie, and you take away the happy moments along with you. Moving on, meditating, again a proven technique, going on a picnic, writing diary entries. Now this is again psychologically proven. Each time I pen down certain emotional draining experience, I forget that experience and I rebuild my relationship with that person. Now I really like to give out my own personal experience where I was training my relationship with a person who was very dear to me. So after having an in detail conversation with a psychologist friend of mine who's a family friend, who incidentally I know is a family friend of ours, he suggested that try to write a certain experience, certain entry which can be deleted from your mind, which can be deleted neurologically, and again that can help you to rebuild your relationship with the person. Believe me or not, I see a different myself with this person each time I interact today. Moving further, going to the beach, having discussion with friends, having family get-togethers, retail therapy, something what I've discussed in shopping, reading magazines, listening to music as well gives you a total different behavioral shift and a body and a mind shift as well. Going to a movie, going for a holiday, well, I'm not a movie person, but it's been proven time and again that movie helps you believe and delete certain scenes, certain things that happened that particular day in your life which were as recent or as fresh as possible. So we recommend you to do one of these activities and do share your experience in the comment box of this underneath the video tutorial that we post on. I would really like to initiate my conversation with you and take it ahead in terms of my discussion. So concluding the topic, if you think you are correct or if you think you're wrong, you're correct at it. So this is one of the thought which is being said by Henry Ford, and I like to conclude with a similar thought that if you think you are worth it, if you think you are good at it, if you think still you're not on lines of what people expect you to be, you're still right at your own situation. Thank you for watching this video tutorial, and I'll really like to have a discussion over a comment box beneath this video tutorial with everyone. Thank you.